Have you ever wondered if you're getting all of the nutrients that you need from your diet? You know, some of you guys are eating a limited diet, some of you are vegan, some of you are carnivore, some of you are a mix in between. And for me, I have wanted to know if I'm getting all the nutrients that I need from my diet. So I ended up testing this out. And I did the most comprehensive at-home test available called Metabolomix. And in this video, I'm gonna share the results with you. So I've been eating very low carb since 2022, but even prior to that, I was eating low carb, compared to the standard American diet. And for the decade prior, I had been avoiding dairy and gluten due to having Hashimoto's and due to being very lactose intolerant. So I've had some food sensitivities for a long time, but ever since I did my experiment with carnivore, those were greatly amplified. All the food sensitivities, I had way more than before. And I discovered it was very difficult to add more foods back into my diet. And I've been trying to do that over the last year by slowly, incrementally adding foods in. And I have not been successful with it. And it's become a concern for my health. And I ended up, getting an ultrasound done on my stomach. I had some labs done recently. Everything was normal so far, which is good that everything's normal, but I still was seeking out answers. And so I did get some of those answers in the test results here. This test is more than just a standard blood panel. It measures how your body uses food for energy, detoxifies, regulates inflammation, and processes neurotransmitters. It also assesses protein metabolism, muscle health, omega-3, omega-6, and saturated fat levels to determine inflammation and cardiovascular risk. It also checks for toxic heavy metals and essential minerals that impact your metabolism and cell function. It costs $490 out of pocket, and it involves a finger prick for a blood sample. It involves a cheek swab and a urine sample. And you do not need a doctor's referral for the test. Thank you to Genova Labs for providing me with this test. So let's get into the results. Here I'm going to share the best and the worst results that I had. And if you want to know my full results and what you're going to get with this test, like all of the results, you can check out my blog post on lifeanddiy.com. I'll put a link to it down below, and I'll pin a comment with a link to it, because there I share every single test result, which is about 13 pages of results. Okay, so I got to give you a disclaimer here. This is not any type of medical advice. I want to let you know that I have an excellent integrative health doctor that I'm working with, and she's going to take a look at this, but I can't really get in to see her for a couple of months. And until then, I decided to use Claude AI to analyze my test results. So if you read about my results on my website, I'm not just presenting my results, but I'm also sharing an analysis from Claude AI. I know that may sound crazy and some people get really upset and even offended by that, but I found it to be incredibly insightful and helpful. But with that said, AI is not always going to be accurate. So if you notice anything that's inconsistent or inaccurate, feel free to let me know down below. I appreciate it a lot. Okay, so we're going to start with my worst results and my most shocking results. Because I eat a very meat-heavy diet and I do eat a lot of red meat, I was very surprised to see that I am lacking in most of the B vitamins. I'm lacking a lot of vitamins and nutrients here on this nutrient levels test. And the worst one, the one that I'm lowest in, is riboflavin, which is B2. B2 is said to be important for activating other B vitamins, so if it is severely deficient, my entire energy production and metabolism could be affected. From what I've read, in order for your pancreas to produce digestive enzymes so that you can digest your foods properly, your body needs sufficient B vitamins, so that's part of that process as well. So that could be part of why I'm having such difficulties in digesting things. Here you can see that I'm deficient in B1, 2, 6, 7, 9, and 12. The only one I'm not deficient in is B3, and that doesn't really surprise me because I used to take a lot of NMN, and I still take it here and there, but not daily. You usually get your B vitamins from meat and eggs, and liver is also a great source. For antioxidants, I'm deficient in vitamin A, vitamin E, glutathione, and plant-based antioxidants. I have a good level of vitamin C and CoQ10 and pretty good levels of ALA. Right here, it shows that my magnesium is also a little low. Omega-3 fatty acids are also on the low end. Oily fish contains higher amounts of omega-3 fatty acids, in addition to things like flaxseed, chia seed, seaweed, and walnuts. It also shows that I'm lacking in digestive enzymes. So the next test result shows you my oxalates or organic acids, and this result was excellent. I'm in the normal range for all of these. Under oxidative stress, my lipid peroxides are a little bit elevated, but it's good to see that my other marker for DNA damage is totally normal. Under methylation, things look pretty good. When you see this FIGLU marker being in the yellow, that can be a result of my folate deficiency. Valine and leucine being red show that there's an issue breaking down these amino acids, and it could be a result of deficiencies in several B vitamins. Next, we have essential and metabolic fatty acids. And this is something I was really curious about because a lot of people will say, you know, if you're having too many omega-6s, you're at risk for cardiovascular issues. And they do share your omega-3 to omega-6 ratio on here, as well as your cardiovascular risk factors. My plant-based omega-3 ALA is pretty low. ALA comes from foods like flax seeds, chia seeds, and walnuts, which makes sense because I don't eat a lot of that in my diet. But my EPA and DHA levels are totally normal. This basically means that I'm getting enough omega-3s from things like fish and other animal products. If you look at this enzyme called delta-6 desaturase, it shows up as high at 39.6, and this enzyme needs B vitamins in order to work properly, especially B6. My omega-3 index is 5.1, which is okay, but it's said that it's not really ideal for heart health because the more optimal range is between 8 and 12%. So here you can see my heavy metals results in the toxic elements test panel. And I've talked about this in a previous video, which I'm going to link to down below. I have a big story behind why I have high gadolinium levels. Basically, it's due to an MRI that I had 8 years ago. It's concerning that my levels are so high so many years later, but I'm going to share more on that in a separate video because there may be a reason that it was showing up so high here. And like I said, I'll share that in a separate video or a blog post. But until then, as you can see, I have certain things that are inching up there that are too high, and one of them is arsenic, which is not good. There is arsenic in rice. I do not consume rice very often, but you can also be exposed to stuff like that from other things besides rice, from your water or even supplements. Be really, really careful because you just never know what's going on with your supplements, and most companies do not provide third-party lab test reports on heavy metal contents. When it comes to supplements, the ones that I would be concerned with are methylene blue and turmeric. I'd be really concerned about the heavy metal contents in those products specifically. And here you can see, besides the gadolinium being in the red and being really high, I also have tungsten, which is almost in the red, nickel, as well as I would say arsenic and cesium are also getting up there pretty high. It's good to see that lead is so low and mercury is so low and aluminum is so low, but the other things are getting up there and almost in the red. Okay, on a positive note, they did several tests for methylation, and what I found to be interesting is that I seem to have absolutely no issues with methylation. It's given me a score of 0, between 0 and 10 is the worst. So that's excellent to hear that or to see that result. It really surprised me because I do have some issues with histamine problems related to certain foods, and as a result I've had to limit my diet even more and avoid certain foods that cause me histamine issues, which is almost like an allergic reaction. But even with saying that, my methylation status on here looks excellent, and I think it's possible that's because I have been taking so many measures to improve my histamine issues, and because I take certain supplements that I think are actually really beneficial, and one of them is quercetin. It's been very helpful for me. I've also been supplementing with vitamin C, and that also helps, supposed to help with histamine issues. So there you have it. I've got a good result right there. So I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions, please let me know down below in the comment section. Take care.